Hey all, it is Wednesday Hump Day, and I just got off recording an episode of the Business Roundtable podcast. For those of you that follow that, I love to have you follow along. Get to meet with my colleague Dr. Curtis Cochran and others on that almost every week. So we had talked about this idea of capacity, and I thought this would be a good one to bring up on a live here too with you. Meaning, yesterday I talked with "Have you hit the wall?" Where you're feeling man, and related to that question is, do you have capacity? Do you have the capacity? And this is a little bit different spin on it than rather than hit the wall. But do you believe you have the capacity to do great things? Do you believe that? Do you understand that? Are you do you have that, or do you know where your capacity lies? Are you clear on it? Are you not so clear? Sometimes we feel like we have the capacity to do a lot of things, and yes, well, maybe we do. We only have so much time and resources, and so we have to be careful about what we're taking on. As a person, as a connector, I like to take on a lot, and while I maybe have quote unquote the capacity, I may not have the depth, meaning I can do it, but should I do it? And do I need to be doing that, right? So I want you to think about this. Number one, do you even have the capacity? Are you saying yes to the right things and no to the things that you need to? That's super important, because what happens if we don't have the right capacity, we're going to be focusing on things maybe that we shouldn't be. And this is, if you guys have read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, there's a whole section in there about production and production capacity, what we're able to produce. Now, living the warrior's way, what I talk about, and you guys hear me coming on almost daily about this, it does help to increase our capacity. It does help to expand what we can do. Now, the reality is we want to make sure when we expand our capacity, we are able to sustain that. And for me, that started with my mindset. Um, Expanding the capacity. What could I conceive? Right? Yes, Sarah, absolutely. What could I conceive? How could I increase my capacity? Um, because there's self-limiting beliefs and behaviors. And so sometimes people going to believe, and I know Sarah, you're big on this because you're in wealth management, but we only believe we can make so much money because that's what we feel like. That's our capacity. I can make $100,000 a year, $50,000 a year. That's my capacity. Well, we have to train our mind and be able to envision and innovate and adapt and think about how we can increase our capacity in different ways. And there's different ways you can do that. I just got off talking about specifically companies, how they do that, but I want to apply it to you individually, specifically. How are you increasing your capacity every day? Hopefully, every day you increase it a little bit more and a little bit more. You're able to expand from where you're at today. And that is super powerful when you can realize that I can actually expand and renew my mind. Um, and once you get into that place of being, of like, you know what, I know I can increase the capacity. I know I can show up. I can do more. So, for example, my capacity or my ability to do push-ups, I mentioned this the other day, last night, is hitting a wall, but has grown because I've been actively training and working and doing more. So, you can increase your capacity in certain things, but we want to make sure you're focusing on the things that matter most. For those of you that follow along in my Intelligent Human Leadership podcast, I just talked about this, and what you're focusing on, where do you want to expand, right? So there's a lot of things we can do, and hopefully you've gotten away from working on your weaknesses. This used to be an idea of like, well, you should focus on your weaknesses. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So we're on the same wavelength, Sarah. Um, there's diminishing returns on your weaknesses. Focus on where you're strongest. That's where you're going to be able to increase your capacity more, because you're already strong in that area. You're going to actually have more impact, I should say. Now, if you're working on your weaknesses, from you're at a 1 or 2 and you get to a 3, that's great. But that impact is not going to be as great as getting you from a 8 or 9 to a 10, right? That's just going to be that much more impactful. And you want to double down on your wins, if you will, not so much on the losses. And again, Sarah, I'm going to throw it back to you since you're watching here on this. Is if we're focusing on our losses or trying to expand on our losses or the things that are small, we're not going to get much usually return on that. It's really where we're actually being most effective, where that's where we're going to double down. Focus in on where you are best, where you're strongest. I literally saw a colleague of mine. I'll give you a shout. Samuel Finlay was talking today about where he was strength. He started in a different job in a different area that he had to learn all over and you start over again. And in fact, I was talking with a client today about hiring somebody and they were really good in one area and now they wanted to start in a new area. Nothing wrong with that, but just realize that you're starting again kind of at the beginning. And so your capacity is going to take a while to get bigger. But if you're already further along, you're able to expand your capacity quicker and sustain it. So this is really, really important when you're looking at what I call your impossible game, your goals, your targets. Where do you want to go? Be clear on what do you want to expand in your capacity, and be cognizant not to choose some things that really may not make that much of a difference. And candidly, when you try to work in those areas that aren't as, I don't know, exciting, engaging, sometimes you're less likely to actually increase your capacity all that much. But let's just say reading. I want to, if you're an avid reader, and I love reading. Um, Absolutely, Sarah. Absolutely. Um, so it's much greater than most people. We put limiting thoughts and we stop ourselves way before the capacity could be reached. And so, you know, I'm just going to use reading as an example, right? Somebody says, "Well, I can't. I've never read a book in a month." If you really like reading, you just start reading a chapter a day, um, or more. Yeah, amen, Hector. Readers are leaders, 100%. You know, you can build your capacity over time. You can start to learn how to speed read. It just starts building on each other. But again, if that's you got to decide what's the capacity? Where do you want to expand your capacity? And why? Why do you want to expand your capacity? Why does it matter? Why is it important to you? Do you know that? Or you're just doing it because somebody said I should do this? You're the greatest motivator of yourself, right? So you've got to be the one that's going to be keeping the momentum going to increase your capacity. And this is so important, not for only for personal, but this is important for me, for my clients that I work with. I want to help them grow in their capacity and their ability, which it'll be in turn help with them in their company. Just think about this, about how you show up. For me, it's really important that I show up in how I am as a husband and a father, meaning I'm more engaged, more aware. I have the capacity to be present and engaged emotionally, spiritually, physically. So how do I do that? Well, I continue to date my wife every week. I continue to engage my children in daily conversation. There's different ways that we can increase our capacity. And so just want to encourage you in this, you guys. I appreciate you guys watching, and why I'm coming on every day is to share these resources so that you can grow and not get stuck, and break out of limiting beliefs, break out of ways of not being as productive and impactful in your life. We all want to leave an amazing legacy and help those around us, but sometimes we just don't know how. And that's why I have the Steward Yourself program through the Steward Your Business for both individuals and business owners and their teams, but giving you the tools, helping you, guide you, and be part of a community. Because that's the other thing with Hector and Sarah that jumped on here tonight. I've met them to multiple communities because we grow together, we rise together. And so as a guide, as a coach, I'm here to help you and create a space where you can say, "Hey, I need help. I want to grow in this area. I want to increase my capacity. I just don't know how. I'm a little stuck." And the investment in yourself, I'm telling you right now, will pay you dividends beyond what you can imagine. I couldn't tell you a year ago would I be hosting 2 podcasts, be in multiple mastermind groups, growing my business, going into its second year. It's amazing. And this is all because I've chosen to increase my capacity as a business owner, chosen to increase my capacity taking care of my physical body. These elements build on each other and what I call you getting to be the impossible game. It's life changing. It's something that I'm super excited and passionate about. If you guys can't tell, and why I want to invite you be a part of this journey. So if this resonates with you, thank you for the comments, Sarah and Hector, and others that are watching on this. To know that you're not alone and you've got an advocate here. Um, Finding that community and that tribe, it make all the difference. So don't go it alone. Thanks, Hector. Love you, brother. Don't go it alone. Know that there's others out there advocating for you, and you have an opportunity right here and now. Don't wait another day. Um, yeah. That's it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So I'm going to be doing an actual mastermind master class coming up here where I'll delve deeper into these. If you're interested and you want to know more about when that's going to come online, message me. I'll message you personally back and we'll get you into the loop of participating in that and meeting others that are along the same journey with you. So increase your capacity. Know that there's more for you. I'm rooting for you guys here. Have an amazing night, and I will catch up with you tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye.